Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. How are you today? I hope you are doing good with this pandemic right now. Okay, so for today, this video, I want to share with you about economic order quantity in terms of its definition, the assumptions, and then the methods that we can use in determining our economic order quantity. So, as introduction, I will share with you two methods on how can we calculate your economic order quantity, which are using formula and tabulation method. Okay, so are you ready? Now, let's roll on. Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone, how are you today? So let's start with our content. So for this video, I want to explain about economic order quantity or EOQ. First of all, we must know the basic definition of economic order quantity. Economic order quantity can be considered as an ideal order size of stocks to be ordered by the business, where as a result, you're able to minimize the total cost. The total cost is the sum up of holding costs plus with the total ordering cost. But before we can further look at the calculation part on the EOQ, we must consider certain assumptions. So these are the assumptions of EOQ. First of all, we will assume that the demand for our product is constant throughout the year. Secondly, we will assume that the holding costs and the ordering costs are constant. Then, we also will assume that the unit price of the material is constant. And last assumption, we will assume that the order of stocks can be replenished anytime. Now, let's move to the next slide. So this will be the formula of calculating the EOQ or economic order quantity. Basically, we are able to determine the EOQ by using multiple methods. First, by using this formula. Second method will be by looking at the tabulation method. And third method will be by plotting a graph. But for our syllabus here, we only focus on the first two methods, by formula and by tabulation. Now, let's focus to the formula. As you can see here, this is the formula of calculating the EOQ. Alright, so it's a quick power of 2 times D times O divided by H. So D will represent the demand per annum. Please bear in mind that this is the demand of the material, not the demand of the product. O will be the ordering cost per order, and H will be holding cost per unit. Certain question or certain textbook will use carrying cost per unit. Both are similar. And sometimes they substitute H with C to represent the carrying cost. Down here you can see the formula of calculating the total cost. It's equivalent to EOQ divided by 2 times the holding cost per unit plus the demand divided by EOQ times ordering cost per order. The first part of the formula in the total cost will give you the total holding cost. The second part of the formula in the total cost will give you the total ordering cost. We can substitute the EOQ with another value as reorder quantity or ROQ. Now, let's go to the definition of holding cost. So basically, holding cost is the cost of handling the stocks in the store. So these are the examples of holding costs
that are always available in equations, such as storage charges, insurance and security, interest on fund borrowed to purchase stock, and cost of obsolescence stock. In fact, there are plenty example of holding costs if you try to do any type of business past exam questions. Now let's proceed to the definition of ordering costs. So ordering costs are all costs that are associated with faxing the order, phone calls, dispatch, transportation charges, as well as wages to workers who may have to bring down the goods. Now let's look at some example. The annual demand of a material is estimated to be 2,500 units. Each material costs 50 ringgit. The company estimates that the holding cost is 20% of the material purchase cost. The company incurs 5 ringgit of administrative costs and 15 ringgit for packaging costs every time an order is placed. So the company currently orders 200 units of the material per month. So first of all, you must make sure that you're highlighting the important point here. So as you can see, this is the demand of the material. So this will be your D. Next, this 50 ringgit is the value of the inventory per unit. In the next line, you can find the holding cost, which is 20% of the material purchase cost. So this will be your H. And then the company incurs 5 ringgit for admin and 15 ringgit for packaging will be your O. Then you can find that in the final line, it's stated that the company currently orders 200 units of the material per month. So these 200 units is considered as reorder quantity or ROQ. So the question requires us to calculate the EOQ and calculate the total cost at EOQ level and calculate the total cost at ROQ level. Okay, now let's calculate the EOQ. As we refer to this slide just now, we can see that we only you have the D, which is 2,500. Your H is 20% of out of 50 ringgit. So we need to see it will be 10 ringgit. Then your O is equivalent to 15 plus 5, which is your 20. Then come with your formula, 2DO divided by H, and put everything that you have in your formula. 2 times 2,500 ringgit times 20 divided by 10 and power. Now let's calculate. Then you will get your answer as 100. So EOQ 100 unit. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. The next question requires us to calculate the total cost by using EOQ value. So our formula just now will be EOQ divided by 2 times H plus D divided by EOQ times O. So just now your EOQ is 100 unit. We divide by 2 times 10 plus your demand divided by your EOQ times 20. Now let's calculate. Make sure you have your calculator with you right now. So here you must have 500 ringgit, then another 500 ringgit on your total ordering cost. So total will be 1000 ringgit. Next question, we need to calculate the total cost of the same product by using ROQ. Bear in mind that your ROQ is 200 unit. So from the same formula, you can just substitute the EOQ with ROQ. For example, ROQ divided by 2 times H plus D divided by ROQ times O. Now let's look. Okay, so we already substitute the formula into figure. Now let's calculate. So for holding cost, you have 1000 ringgit, and for ordering cost, you have 250. So in total, you have 1250 ringgit. So as a conclusion, you can see that the total cost of the material by using EOQ is lower if you're using ROQ. As you can see that the value of total cost ROQ is more than 250 ringgit more or higher than total cost for EOQ.
Now, let's proceed with the second method in determining the EOQ by using tabulation. So by using tabulation, it enables cost accountant to find the EOQ by calculating the total cost, which consists of the total ordering cost and the total of holding costs. Now, for your table, you must have two main sections which consider as top and bottom section. Top section will be your workings, and the bottom sections will be the calculation part of the holding cost, ordering cost, and the total cost. So you will need to have plenty of columns which will present possible reorder quantities. Then how can you calculate your EOQ? EOQ will be determined by looking at the lowest level of the total cost. So the order size that is associated with the lowest total cost will be considered as the EOQ. Now let's look at the table. So this will be the example of your table. As you can see, you have plenty column and rows. The first column will be your order quantity, where you will put the number of quantity to be ordered. Now depends on the creations. Sometimes you have 3 order quantity, sometimes you will provide with 4 different order quantities. Next, calculate your average stock. So your average stock will be half of your order quantity. The third line will be the number of order. So we can calculate your number of order by dividing the demand with your order quantity. So the first 3 lines here will be your top section. Now we are entering the bottom sections. So the first line and the bottom section will be calculating the total holding cost for each order quantity. So holding cost is equivalent to holding cost per unit times your average stock. Next will be the total ordering cost. So total ordering cost can be determined by multiply the ordering cost per unit with the number of order. And the final line will be sum up the holding cost and ordering cost in order to determine the total cost. Now let's look at the calculation and some example. Okay, now let's look at example here. Antimini is an entrepreneur who specializes in making donuts. The ingredients include a special mixed flour costing 3 ringgit per kg. To make 20 pieces of donuts, she requires 0.5 kg of the flour. the total annual demand is 200,000 pieces of donuts. Now, please bear in mind that this will be the demand of the donuts. You need to calculate the demand of the material, which is your flour here. Next, Aunty Mini incurs 6 ringgit to place an order and 1 ringgit and 60 cent per kg per annum for holding costs. So now, let's highlight your main point here. So first, you have the demand of your product. So we need to calculate the demand of the material. So the demand of the donut is 200,000 pieces. So this is for your donut. So we need to calculate the demand of your flour. So how can we calculate the demand of the flour? Now let's look. So you need to take your total demand of the product, divide by 20 pieces and times with 0.5 kg. Then you will get 5,000 kg. So this 5,000 kg is the demand of your flour. So you will use 5,000 kg instead of 200,000 pieces of donut, because we are talking about the material, not the product. Next, we have 6 ringgit to place an order. So obviously this will be your O, and 1.6 per kg per annum for holding costs. Thereby this will be your H. So you are required to help Aunty Mini to tabulate the total cost of stock for order sizes of 50, 100, 200 and 500 kg of the special mix flour, and determine the EOQ that minimizes the total cost from the table. Now let's open a table. So here we have the table, and you can find the demand that you needed, which is 5,000 kg, and in fact I already put in the OQ for each column, such as 50, 100, 200 and 500 according to the question. Now let's calculate the top section and the bottom section. So first will be your average stock by dividing your order quantity into 2. For example, so 50 divided by 2, you get 25. 100 divided by 2, you get 50. 200 divided by 2, there you go, 100. And 500 divided by 2, as a result, 250. Next, calculate the number of order by dividing the demand with your OQ. Let's calculate. So first of all, for order quantity 50, the demand will be 100. For order quantity 100, the demand will be 50. Next, for order quantity 200, the number of order will be 25. And next one, if the order quantity is 500, then your number of order will be 10. There you go, you already completed the top sections. Now let's continue with the bottom section. So your holding cost will be 1.6 per kg. So now let's find out the total holding cost for each OQ. So you will take your holding cost per unit times with the average stock that you have here. For example, for average stock 25, your holding cost will be 40 ringgit. For average stock 50, your holding cost will be 80. For average stock 100, your holding cost will be 160, and for average stock 250, your holding cost will be 400. Now, let's find the ordering cost for each order quantity. So the ordering cost per order will be 6 ringgit. Take this 6 ringgit and times with the number of order that you have here. For example, for OQ 50 and number of order 100, the order cost will be 100 times 6. Then you get 600. Next, for number of order 50, the ordering cost will be 50 times 6. Then you get 300 ringgit. Next, for number of order of 25 times with 6, your total ordering cost will be 150. And for 10 number of order, your ordering cost will be 10 times 6, which is 60 ringgit. In order to complete your table, find the total cost by add up the holding cost and ordering cost. For example, here it will be 640. For OQ 100, it will be 380. For OQ 200, it will be 310. And for OQ 500, it will be 460. Now, you haven't completed your answer yet because you must determine the lowest total cost and choose your economic order quantity. So now, here by looking at this slide and comparing the total cost for each of the OQ, you can find that the lowest OQ or the lowest total cost is 310 ringgit. Okay. So what will be the EOQ order quantity of this 310 ringgit? It is 200 units. Therefore, as a conclusion, the EOQ for anti-mini is 200 kg, as it gives the lowest total cost of 310. So that's all for our video today. We will continue with the next part of your material in the next video. So hopefully you can use your valuable time to do other type of questions as part of your tutorial. So see you again next time in the next video. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.